Hi, my name's John. Welcome to another Wednesday catch-up. Last weekend I was at Chester Street Steam Rally on the Saturday and Sunday. It was really nice to meet quite a few viewers. They come shook my hand and I got one or two little presents given, which I'll probably show a little bit later on. People ask, John, what steam rallies do you definitely go to? The steam rallies I go to, obviously I've been to Chester Street, I've been to one or two local ones. Chester Street is a good rally, you don't want to miss that next year. My next rally will probably be Flukeborough in Cumbria, and then I'll be going to Shrewsbury Onslow Park Steam Rally, which is also the home of the Sentinel Owners Club. I'm interested in Sentinel steam wagons. I do quite a lot of work on Sentinel steam wagons, and to me that is definitely the best rally of the year. So if you want to meet me at a steam rally and you want to travel around a little bit, Onslow Park is definitely the one to go to, Shrewsbury. I'll put some dates in the end of the video just to jog your memory a little bit. Then I'll be doing Scampton. I think it's straight away after Onslow Park. I'm going to Scampton once again with two Sentinel steam wagons. In today's video I'm going to show a clip I edited from the weekend at Chester Street. What they have at Chester Street is what they call a playpen, where drivers, owners, operators can take their steam vehicles and show what they're actually capable of doing, dragging things around, show the public what they were built for, not just standard boiler motor actually working, which is a really nice thing to see. And what we have is a Marshall steam tractor which is pushing well above its weight. It's quite incredible. The thing it actually pulls around the playpen and it actually stalls on the first run, and the guy that's operating it does a really good job of doing a hill start. It might think it's nothing a hill start, but a hill start with 20 odd ton on the back really is something worth watching. I'm also going to put another lathe tutorial video up. These have been having some really good views. It's nice to see people watching them all over again. Hi, my name's John. Welcome to part 9 in a series of short videos all about the metalworking lathe. In this episode, or this instalment, I'm going to carry on the theory of work holding, and I'm going to do a little bit about collets in collet chucks. That's enough talking. Let's bring the camera in and I'll show you the collet chuck setups that I use. The spindle on this Harrison lathe is what's termed as an L00. It's got a big taper, a key and a big thread, and that holds the chuck or the faceplate or the collet chuck directly onto there. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot of collet chucks you can buy for this particular type of lathe, and blank backplates are very expensive. So I've managed to make one or two different adapters to take different types of collet chucks, which I'm about to show now. Most lathe headstock spindles have a taper in there to take a Morse taper adapter or a Morse taper drill. This one on this Harrison lathe is a special taper, but I have got an adapter that comes with the lathe, and that takes it from that to a Morse taper 3. Collet chucks once upon a time were very expensive. Now they're very cheap. You can buy an import collet chuck in a set of collets for sort of 50 or 60 quid. They're not superb quality, but they're pretty good for the home user. So you can simply put your collet chuck into there and use that to hold small parts, or to hold parts you don't want to damage, or to hold parts repeatedly. The only problem you've got with this is you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 possible causes of inaccuracy. I'm going to put something in there I know is round. I'll put a clock gauge on and see how true that is actually running. This is actually an AR32 collet chuck. I use it in the tail side of the lathe for holding taps. I turn that by hand. It's actually only got 2 thou run out, which is not bad when you consider how far away from the actual chuck spindle it is. A good 2 thou, and you can't adjust that. Well, you can adjust it by carefully cleaning, reassembling and tweaking the collet holder, but basically for a cheap imported collet chuck, that's exactly what you're going to get. One trouble with this is you can't get anything through the back of there because the back of that is solid with the arbor. What you can do is mount that collet chuck there into a 4-jaw chuck, then you can set it up running dead true, and every part you put in there will be dead true. If you're doing repetition work, that's one way to do it. This is the collet chuck I use all the time. It's an AR40 collet chuck, and I've fitted it onto an old catch plate which goes directly onto the lathe spindle. That simply goes onto there, locates on the dowel, and that big nut pulls it on. You've seen me change it before, and then I give it a couple of swift blows with a copper hammer, and that's it locked on. What advantage with this type of locking method is you can reverse the lathe and there's no chance of the chuck unscrewing. You can see with this setup it's a lot closer to the end of the spindle, because obviously the further out you get, the more flex you have and the more chance of run out. Here are the collets, spring collets. These are used in the industry all the time now, very popular. These collets have quite a decent range on them as well. They've got a 1mm range that goes from 17 to 18. So yeah, there's not that many collets in the set. This is round bar, I know it's round. I normally use it for setting up. So we'll tighten that up. The other advantage with these types of chuck is you can grip a threaded bar and you won't damage the threads. Right, so we'll put the clock on and see how near that one is. One thou. Now one thing I have done with this chuck, the same as me 3-jaw chuck, it's a slackish fit on the register. There's 2 or 3 thou wiggle room, So I can't loosen off these 13mm bolts, tap it, lay it up dead on, and it means every time I use this collet chuck with that size piece of bar, it'll be perfectly concentric, which is good for production work. I like using this as well because you haven't got the mass of the chuck spinning around, and you can run the lathe at a higher speed and I suppose feel safer. The lathe will do 2000 RPM, and all you use a collet chuck to do those sort of speeds. It's also good for me for video because I can get the camera into places where I haven't got the bulk of the chuck. So that's one collet chuck setup that I use. Whenever you're changing chucks on lathes, don't forget to put your piece of board in case you drop something and ding the lathe. To remove the chuck, simply loosen that, and that pushes it off the taper. This is another type of collet chuck, what they call a 5C collet chuck. They're the actual collets, and these don't move very far. You need a big set of collets to cover the full range of sizes, but it actually goes into there and has a scroll in there that pulls them in. And the collet crushes and grips whatever you've got in there. I don't use this a lot because I haven't got the full range of collets. I've got most of them, but I haven't got the popular metric ones. That's it there, closing up. And that mounts in the lathe in exactly the same way. With all of that chucks. You often see the Americans using these, they're very popular in the States. It sticks out slightly further than the AR-40 type chuck, but it is another option. And obviously you can pass something right through there and through the headstock spindle. This is another work holding piece of equipment that can be very, very handy. They're often found in the bottom of the lathe line rusting with a 4-jaw chuck next to them, which is a shame because they are useful. That mounts onto the lathe spindle in exactly the same way. You can actually bolt things onto here. That's going to be the subject of the next video. I'm going to set the faceplate up with some various things to bolt on. One thing you can do with the faceplate, because it is in very close, this lathe has got what they call a gap bed. That part of the lathe there comes out, which means you can get some very big diameter in there. I've never removed the gap bed from the lathe. I don't think I will, because I can always get access to a bigger lathe, but it is a feature that's there. So next time it's going to be faceplates. I hope you found that interesting. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I hope you carry on watching these videos. If there's anything you'd like us to cover in more detail, all you got to do is drop us an email. That's my email address up there. There's loads to cover. I'm going to carry on doing one of these a week because I enjoy doing them. Anyway, thanks for watching. Regarding health wise, I'm having a little bit of a sort of, not a relapse, but a little bit of a sticky patch. I expected this. There's no miracle cure for depression. I think the miracle cure is probably friends and laughter and talking. But I am sort of, I've gone back a little bit, but I'm getting there. Anyway, thanks for watching.